Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at Glenn and Matt's new featured banner. Obviously, Glenn is going to be paramount in this coming Guild Wars 7 due to the unique effects of his ice weapon. So that being said, guys, I'm just going to get straight into it. Let's jump over to this banner and let's take a look at this. This is actually the first time I've looked at this banner. For some reason it didn't load when I first brought up my game, but let's go ahead and first look at the animation of this. Always super important in my opinion. Alright, so here's Frost Slash. Pretty sick. Not the best one, but pretty sick. And here's Matt's right here. His is actually way sicker. Let's go back and let's look at Matt's again, alright? Let's just bypass Glenn really quick. His is okay, but look at Matt's. Dude. I really like that one a lot, alright? That's pretty sick. Now let's go and let's take an actual look at this costume. Let's hide the UI and take a look at this. Alright, honestly guys, I think that this is probably my favorite Glenn costume. It's not like overbearing in any way, but I do like the kind of simple aesthetics of it. I like this kind of big white hood he's got going on. He's got like I don't even know what you would call this. It's like a circular thing that's holding it together. I don't even know what is this, like a cowl? It's like a cowl, but I feel like a cowl is typically associated with like something darker, like an assassin in the night or something like that. And he's got like the beads right here. It's got like kind of a monkish look to it, I feel, honestly. In the wallpaper it shows him like standing before like the head of Buddha. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I will tell you though, I did live with the monks for a while in Nepal. They don't dress like this. I wish they did, because that would be freaking awesome. But this does look really sick. They definitely don't have giant axes either, but I really like the axe. Let's go in and look at this axe right here. I don't think that's an actual language, but it does look cool. I like the gold slash kind of, I don't even know, what is this, like, it's like a bronze cast right here. It's really cool. I like this. If I had the extra resources, which now officially due to the Rebirth crossover countdown announcement, it's like, I don't even know what I'm going to do for the next 2 months, but I would have loved to have gone for this costume, at least for Glenn. Alright, so let's take a look. I mean, all around, I think it's pretty sweet, guys. I think for all you Glenn fans out there, this is like something that I think you were waiting for. This really cool costume. I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Alright? Now let's go and take the look at the actual specs on this thing. Alright, so the first R ability, Beads of Protection, a tankier ability, not quite as high as I thought it was going to be, considering he has Provoke on his weapon. I thought physical and magic defense would be plus 20% and the HP plus 10%, right? But it does look like, you know, it is just going to be physical and magic defense 10%, HP 10%. I mean, for a base R ability, super solid, guys. Very, very good. It's very well balanced. Probably the best Ice Arcanum in the game, in my opinion. Ice Arcanum costume. I really like this. I would love to see more of this on more costumes in the future, accompanying Arcanums in the future. Really solid here. And then we have the Frostblade Arcanum. So in terms of a costume, guys, I'm going to give this one a solid 10 out of 10. I really, really think it's super good. Now let's go and take a look at this weapon, alright? This weapon is a bit of an oddity in my opinion. Alright, so here we have Blade of Ruin, OB1, level 120, 396 physical attack. We have Frost Slash, 4 ATB cost, deals 620% physical ice damage upon a single enemy. Also, Provoke is applied, but take note that it does not cast Veil. Alright, and that's going to be, I think, an important factor in this costume. This weapon. This weapon is a strange one in my opinion. Now, needless to say, if you guys are interested in pulling to be more efficient in the current Guild Wars 7, obviously, it's a no-brainer. Like, the enemy is going to have a mechanic in which Provoke is going to be crucial. We don't know how crucial it's going to be. I haven't actually fought it yet. But then also the fact that it increases the command gauge as well, and we know for a fact that the boss decreases the command gauge with at least 2 of his abilities. This weapon is going to be paramount, I would say, in at least dealing with the harder, maybe stage 4, stage 5 end of this guild war, guys. Now, my concern with this weapon is that it really doesn't make sense to me to put provoke on a DPS character. You know, like if I'm putting a tank into a fight, right? You know, I'm speccing the entire rear end, all the materia, for defensive capabilities, right? And you know, obviously, if Glenn is going to be your primary DPS, you're not going to want to do that. You're going to spec him for damage. So he's not really going to be a great tank. He's never going to be a great tank. This costume, although it is great, doesn't make him a great tank, right? So I feel like it's like they're trying to run both left and right at the same time. Now, for this guild war, like I said, it's going to be super impactful. It's obviously going to be great. But how good is this weapon going to be after this guild war? What is the longevity of this weapon? That's my question, you know, because with this current fight for the guild war, the provoke is going to have its uses, but would I really want to put in a DPS in a different fight in the future that is using provoke when I'm not building that character for provoke? It just seems like it doesn't really make sense to me. It feels like this weapon was literally hand-tailored, made for this guild war, but that's about it. I feel like it doesn't really take into consideration, you know, the other things on the horizon. And then it's not just that, right? There are other factors here. All right, so let's take a look at OB6 and we'll take a look at the other stats on this. 622 physical attack at OB6 is pretty dang powerful. We have Frost Slash improving to Frost Slash Plus, deals 780% physical ice damage. All right, the provoke is still 60 seconds at OB6, but the increased command gauge goes from 10% to 20%. All right, the R abilities are going to have physical attack at 54, boost ice potency at 27, meaning it's going to be a 62/39 cap at OB10. So definitely really good R abilities. All right, and then for the support abilities, we have a double physical attack boost, which I like to see when it matches the weapon, and X sigil boost. All right, so pretty solid, pretty standard, right? None of these things have really, you know, jumped out at us recently. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at OB10, all right? So at OB10, it doesn't quite crack 700 physical attack, which I feel like I'm waiting for these weapons to start doing, is to break that 700 threshold. But 679 is still decently powerful. Not the most powerful, but still powerful. It is going to deal 940% physical ice damage, but the one thing I want to point out here, guys, is that this is an Ice Arcanum weapon, right? And basically all the other, you know, like meta next-gen elemental weapons deal 940% damage, but they also have a 1.2 times bonus based on certain criteria, whether the enemy is debuffed, whether we are buffed, etc. This weapon does not have that, so right off the bat, it's not as good as a DPS weapon as any of the other elemental weapons that are at the 940 threshold. And instead of getting that extra 1.2 times damage, we're getting a provoke, which is probably not going to have a long lifespan, you know, in terms of use for other bosses. And then we're getting the increases command gauge, which is great. However, this weapon is locked into ice element, so you know, we could get a enemy that has a dread type ability, command gauge lower, that, you know, is weak to wind, right, in the future. So it's I just feel like, although the costume is really cool, really awesome, love the way it looks, love the R abilities on it, I love that Glenn is getting some love in the game, I just feel like this weapon is not really the best. I think that it will have its moment in Guild War 7, and then after that, it's probably going to fall off. So I think, guys, it's hard to say. If you don't have a solid ice arcanum or an ice physical weapon in your account, then it's definitely something to consider. If you're trying to help out your guild, you want to boost yourself up and be stronger for the coming guild war, then 100%. If you're missing a physical ice arcanum slash weapon, it's something to be considered. But if I was really looking for a solid, like I have Cloud's weapon, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at Cloud's over here. All right, so let's go to weapons. Okay, we're going to go to filter. We're going to go to Cloud. All right, and I love playing Cloud. And right now, this weapon deals 936% physical ice damage. And at some point in time, I'm obviously going to, replace this. I've been waiting until they power creep the elemental weapons till they hit, so that when they hit their next tier, which I'm guessing what's going to happen based on the fact that the Rebirth crossover is going to be happening throughout February, so I'm guessing those banners are going to be pretty good, but they're not going to be anything insane because they're already super FOMO as it is with the costumes. It's Loveless, it's Rebirth. People want those anyway, right? I think that when the 1.5 anniversary hits, that's when we're going to actually see a power creep to elemental weapons, right? We're going to see something better than a 940% with a 1.2 times multiplier. And so, for me, I think that it's just not worth it at all for me to switch over or to upgrade from Cloud to Glen, and I'm not even sure it's really an upgrade at this point in time, right? It doesn't even have the 1.2 times multiplier there, so it is kind of a tricky banner here, guys. And yeah, it's honestly a little bit confusing, to be honest. But yeah, I would say if you guys are looking for a super, super solid ice DPS, physical ice character, I would say that it's probably better to wait, right? We're going to see a power creep to these soon. This one doesn't have the 1.2 times multiplier. Now, that's on the line that you don't want to, have this for this guild war, right? And I'm looking at more in a longevity state. I feel like the people that are going to be pulling for this weapon for the guild war are already decided on that. It doesn't matter because we already know this weapon is going to be best in slot for this guild war. But my concern is what's after. How will this weapon hold up in the future? Are we going to continue to use it? And I just feel like the provoke might not be as much of a boon in the future as it will be in this guild war. So I think, guys, that for most people out there, unless you're a huge Glen fan or you're just going hard for the guild war, I think that this is an easy skip, guys, which is good because we have a lot of stuff on the horizon and what looks like a ton of limited banners coming out, guys. So yeah, that's going to be basically it. There's not too much to cover. Lots of strange things here, but I can't see everything. I'm not clairvoyant, right? So, if you guys see other applications of this weapon, please share it in the comments so that other people can read these comments and come to a conclusion as to whether or not they can spend their crystals. I appreciate that, guys. I feel like Ever Crisis is a great community where people are sharing constantly, ideas, thoughts, builds, everything, and I love that when everyone comes together. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys today, and I do wish you guys the best of luck if you are pulling on the banner. For me, I'm going to be pulling on the Sid banner, going for the first costume, and then waiting for the first Rebirth crossover banner, which is going to be Aerith in her Loveless dress on January 29th. So that being said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you did enjoy it today, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis content. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.